Welcome back, Madridistas. Football is a mixed bag of emotions. This season, especially so, and our mixed bag contains, for most part, disappointment. Um, Adding on to that, towards the end of the season, total capitulation at the Mestalla against Valencia, and I'm still in shock as to what happened. The match didn't seem like it wanted to end. Um I even felt like joining in the brawl. But here we are, still talking about it. I have Javier today with me, and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Be Real podcast.
Madridistas, another defeat in La Liga, harsh one because we lost against a Valencia that was struggling with relegation. We have a missed opportunity to put the final nail in their coffin, but it seems like we have to wait another season probably because I think this is the end of the relegation struggle for Valencia. So congratulations on that. Another mediocre season by Valencia, but yeah, that stadium should be suspended. For me, it's clear as day that uh, La Liga is rotten. La Liga is done. It's a product that is no longer sustainable. So I only hope that the Spanish authorities, not La Liga, but Spanish authorities do something because it seems like the Vinicius is to blame, but I think Vinicius is the consequence of the ambience of the Spanish people, at least the ones that go to stadiums.
The system is
So
rotten. I mean, it there isn't any more excuse. I mean, how can you defend this? Literally the best player in the league, and this is what you do to him, week in and week out. We had away games. We play Champions Leagues where he is probably the most respected, the most feared player on the pitch, Bar Benzema, and then we come back to this week in and week out. There doesn't seem to be a solution. There's nobody involved. There is no action. Yeah, man, it's just total. It just wrapped up the mood of the evening. It was just shit, more or less.
yeah, I mean, if you want, we can talk about the game at like the starting of the game. Uh, it seems to me that in the first half only uh, Eduardo was trying to like show himself in his right spot, in the midfield. Nothing about anyone. No one was trying to do something special. And then at the end, a goal, a dumb mistake, if you ask me, by Ferland Mendy, that's just stop. Just stop and don't go for the ball. I mean, he's getting his confidence back, but I think it's probably his last minutes in the Real Madrid shirt.
That's what it looks
It's
like.
not
I mean,
because
Mendy is playing like a player who is just looking to go out. I mean, it's pretty sure he has his foot out for the summer window, and yeah, he was caught ball watching. I don't know, like throughout the game, all of the attacks that came in just came in through his side. And I mean, I'm not saying that Lucas Vasquez is perfect, but a good performance, I would say, up to his standards. But from Ferland Mendy and from I mean, we went from saying nothing about Ferland Mendy because he was week in and week out consistent, great, and then we went to this. I honestly don't know what to say because it's been I can't even say terrible. It's been such a fall off that it's crazy even to think about it. Yeah, man, what a game! What a game! It's just
then another, like I said, another missed opportunity because us we've been, es- me especially, I think that I spoke myself trying to to play with Chouameni and Camavinga in the midfield. Um, Today was the day that we finally saw that at least for 45 minutes, and nothing happened. I mean, there's nothing special about Valencia's midfield, and they completely just. I mean, it's hard to switch on after that brutal defeat on Wednesday. So the the momentum was gone. They have nothing else to play for. The second place, and we can talk about the chat. I mean, I saw Raul is posting on the chat a few comments.
Yeah,
Congratulations!
really quickly, Rahul is a returning viewer for us. Welcome back, Rahul, who is also sadly, unfortunately, for everybody involved, he's an Atleti fan. So yeah, man, congrats, Rahul, on the win today. I guess he has a lot of I want to say laughing, crying emojis. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, man. The less said about your team, the better. At least in the context of today's game and in the context of today's fans, the less said about your team, the better. So let's just move ahead. I'm not going to mention it. You're not going to mention it. And here we go. He also says Wardred. So VAR for us today. Hmm. I don't
I
know.
mean,
A lot of questionable stuff from the sidelines, from the refereeing, from the main referee on the pitch. I mean, I guess couldn't have handled it a lot better. But towards the end, I mean, all of the stuff that happened after, let's say, 80 minutes, the
yeah,
refereeing was questionable, to say the least. The second yellow, we just got shown the clip where the players went down. Nothing as to what caused the incident. The second yellow, is it deserved? Probably, but it could have just ended. I don't know, much better. Yeah, man, I just don't know. My head is spun from this. Uh, I guess somebody else also just put in the chat. Who was it? Somebody said, Hassan says, the combination of Ancelotti ball and the events that took place have my head on Jupiter. Yeah, man, Hassan, yeah, same, bro. I didn't even know what to say. Yeah, Javier, you were saying.
yeah. Like we said, we can. I don't know. Maybe count with one hand the games that we don't have nothing to talk about any referee. It's impressive the amount of bullshit that Real Madrid and especially Vinicius has to deal. It's unbearable. I only wish that some things need to change. I mean, in an ideal world, probably Real Madrid would play in another Liga. Just just be out of this crap. One thing is the natural cause that you are the best team in history of La Liga or probably the best team in the world. So of course you're gonna create a huge rivalries here and there. Like Atletico, Barça, Bilbao, Sevilla, you name it, and especially Valencia. They've been crying about some transfer from 25 years ago, and they still bitching about it. So that being said, the animosity that you have to deal when you go to Mestalla is expected. It's usual. The thing is, one thing is you chant against Real Madrid as an institution. You can call us Casa de Papel, or you name it. We don't fucking care. But when you especially uh, your insults towards a player, and beyond that, racist insults, it's
And it's not
beyond.
the first time either. And it's not the first time either. It's a repeated offense, and it keeps happening throughout the season. And La Liga is doing fuck all about it. It's not a surprise at this point anymore. But the least you can do is send off the guy who at least started it. Send off the section that started it. Just do something.
Yeah,
Like, why do we have to sit here every week and talk about the same thing? Because it's racist abuse and it's directed at Vinny, and nothing's happening. And fuck all is happening. And for all La Liga does, for all the advertising, for all the stuff that we put up with, this is inexcusable. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, what the hell, man?
It's a like you said, it's the product of La Liga. It's no longer valuable. You know, the only thing that makes valuable La Liga is probably Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's a product. You know, we watch 30 plus weeks of football because we expect either Madrid or Barca to win. It's a boring product. You know, the ratings can crumble, and they try to cover the allow me the expression, the dead bodies under the rock, because um, they want to advertise even more. You know, like they want to sell the product of La Liga. But once again, uh, if you are an investor, if you are someone to enjoys watching football, you cannot enjoy watching this. You know, you and I and us in the chat, uh, we struggle to watch these kind of games because we love Real Madrid and we love to watch Vini and we love to watch Thibaut. But at the end of the day, if you ask me, I would rather watch, I don't know, the game earlier today, you know, the Bundesliga game from uh, Borussia versus uh, Augsburg.
Hmm.
So it's more enjoyable, you know. They play better football because they allow the players to play. They don't go at the players. Of course, like I don't know who mentioned it in the chat. I think it was Farouk. Like every major country in the world has racist problems. Every country in the world is not exempted, but when you allow that a public event, it's more towards who's going to insult Bini, that how Bini can play. That's that the balance is no longer there. You know, if you watch a game from Real Madrid as a Real Madrid fan, you are almost expecting the same amount of bullshit towards Vini that magic that Vini creates. You know, goal or assist here and there, insult to racism, a fight with the referee. I mean, sometimes it's Vini's fault, but more often than not, it's one provoked. Once again, today a red card, he's not gonna play the next game at least because I expect they're gonna prolong the suspension because he clapped to the referee on his way out, and then the the gesture of Bini that Valencia is it's going to second division. I mean, I can only hope if any is Valencia's is fan is on the chat, I can only hope this season or next season. I truly hope that you go to the second division. You have no your downfall is impressive. I hope you disappear in the next 20 years or so because you're a crappy team. You know, like you enjoy helping Barca. You still have, you know, been under investigated with the change with Neto and Silicen. So, I mean, there's no team in La Liga that has nothing to
Nothing to
against you. I
celebrate.
mean,
Nothing to celebrate. They have fuck all and they keep denying us. And today, I mean, it's one of those stadiums where to go to Mestalla is a pain in the ass, putting it lightly. Just because it doesn't even feel like the fans are there to support the team. They're just there to just give us the middle finger. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, our record has been substantially painful there. Also to be expected, but to continuously racially abuse a player, target him, literally, I think I agree with Mo who said in the chat that the end product of all of this will be that Vinny will not enjoy playing La Liga anymore and will look for better places to play in. And that would be a loss not only for us in the context of La Liga, but also in football. I mean, the greatest players in the world deserve to play for Real Madrid. And
yeah.
Vini is definitely the best in his position in this season.
Yeah,
I
dude.
really,
If Vini wasn't a Madridista, a true Madridista, like hard tattooing his blood, he would ask for a transfer, no doubt. Why else would you expect someone to sustain this? If you're not Madridista, you have nothing to prove to anyone. You already won a Champions League. You already won every single major title with this shirt. So the fact that I truly admire him and makes me love him even more. That the thing is, Vini is Madridista, and Vini knows that okay, I have to to sustain this bullshit 1 week, 1 week not. Like to be able to have to deal with this bullshit every 15 days. It's impressive. And they see, and this the narrators are saying like, oh, Bini Bini commits uh, a dumb mistake. He needs to grow up. And I was like, so you're saying that one guy that was being racially abused every single minute for the past 20 minutes of this game, and then if you watch the play that when Bini goes out, first the goalkeeper, I have no idea how to pronounce that name, and then another Valencia player grabbed him by the neck. Like
Hmm.
he
Yep.
just he was like a judo wrench, and they said, oh, Bini has to know better. No, the other guys too. Every single
Yeah.
guy in the world,
Yeah. Everybody is
it's not
responsible for the
just
whole thing. I mean, we have Hassan in the chat saying the keeper attacked him, then someone put him in a headlock and dumped, then someone else pushed him, yet Vinny got sent off. Madrid TV says they don't show the headlock, but they show the Vinny incident. That's La Liga for you. And Sunaid says VAR, Vinny got put in a fucking headlock. Who employs these nice people? I
I mean, I know and once again, I know who employed these fellows. Like the owner. I have to talk about this once again because it seems like no one cares. The owner of the Media Pro, the guys that rule the bar, is one of the guys that bailed out Barca. He's
also
directly
true.
money
Yeah.
involved in Barca.
Hmm.
How on earth does this is allowed? That's the only reason that we saw that Vini's red card, and we don't saw the other two or three or four. Or we have like a long shot, like 50 yards from that,
Exactly.
and we have nothing.
We just shown that there are 22 players moving like a fucking Beyblade, and that we don't even know what's happening. It's frustrating for three parts. The first part, obviously, that something more serious has happened, like literally minutes before. They don't show us what happened. They don't show us any if there are any consequences. They don't even implement those consequences. There's nothing there. The second part, it's been yellow card season since the beginning of the game. There's been a lot of dives, there's been a lot of pulls, there's been a lot of kicks, things that go unpunished, things that go just barely looked at. And then this happens, and we aren't even shown a proper scene as to what happened, what caused it. We're being shown 3 second clips of Winnie just pulling, just pushing something, somebody, and then people go down. And the next thing that we see is a second yellow card. I don't even know, Javier. This is a game that deserves to be forgotten, and this is as you said, the team itself. I would prefer if they got relegated, but seeing them play today, you could hardly believe that they were 13th in the league. Uh, I guess it's a matter of us either giving up or not having the motivation to just completely pull through. About the game itself, we have Sunaid in the chat saying, controversy aside, did we deserve to win? Absolutely not. And that's the sentiment that's been echoed like worldwide by all the Madridistas seeing the game today. It's been shambles. I mean, from the first moment, at least the one of the things that I had in mind is that Kamavinga was playing in his natural position, midfield. Great, we have a proper left back again. Was that left back up to the task? Absolutely not. Uh, I'll tell you something that I thought of in between the game. If you asked me at the beginning of the season, if I had a bingo card at the beginning of the season, I would not have the fall off of Ferland Mendy on my cards. I would also
Yeah,
not have Mamardashvili turning into prime Buffon literally towards the end of the season. Like what? It's frankly,
yeah.
it's unbelievable the number of saves that he pulled out. But then again, props to Courtois, man. I mean, it felt like he was the only one actually playing, actually who gives a shit. Yeah, good saves from both ends. I think they were like five saves until the 90th minute. And the game went on for another 15, 20 minutes, I want to say, of which I think Mamadashvili had like 10 minutes of the ball. Just he made a lot of saves, and that will go very well in his highlight section when he decides that he wants to get the fuck out of Valencia and then go to a club that actually deserves his performance. Yeah, about the game, Javier. Frankly, first a summary as to what you're thinking when you saw the game. What happened towards the end?
I mean, it, it, it's it's hard to talk about football today because I don't saw any of it. You know, if I saw football today, it was only in Valencia and probably a few players here and there by club, but nothing else, nothing special of any of those 25, 26 guys, almost 30 guys that played today because I think Valencia made five changes and I think Madrid made
Yeah,
four.
yeah.
So nothing special about any of those. I mean, I don't know why he sought Eduardo. I mean, if it was tactical, sure. If he was because he wants to recover his knee, why do you play him
Why do you
first in the
start
first
them
place?
anyway? Yeah,
Yeah, but after that, I mean, if you want, we can talk about the players that still under negotiations. You know, like it seems like basically it's done deal by for Tony and Luca.
hmm
Uh, Asensio's proposal is almost done deal. I think he has a Premier League side. I don't know if Aston Villa something like that as well. And I think Ceballos is it's it's gonna be, you know, like, okay, so what do you expect in Real Madrid? Like, okay, I can give it to you. If you want to be a rotational player, you can still do that. If you want more money, there's a way, and you can go elsewhere, you know.
hmm
And Nacho, I don't know. I'm not how to feel. I'm not sure how to feel about Nacho because if Nacho didn't play today, and he said like, "Oh, my decision is not gonna change over if I play or not," but I think it is. I think he's like, "Come on, today, why don't start Nacho instead
True.
of either Moody, Rudiger, or Militao?"
Yeah.
So show your second captain or third captain some respect.
hmm
But I don't know the like if you want to talk about any of those guys, or you can talk about the thing that this major transfer, either you know, like big signings,
hmm
and also I expect a lot of departures in Real Madrid. I mean, I expect at least 5 to 8 players changing. I mean, I don't think it's possible, but if you ask me, that would be ideal, you know, because we have so many spots that it's undercover, and at least I don't know any position that we have like well covered. Probably left wing with Pini and Rodrigo, but nothing else. I mean, and center backs.
Probably.
That's the only.
Yeah. We have Deron Hunter in the chat saying, I think it's time for the board to go. I think it's time for this board to go. Not properly investing in the squad for the past 3 seasons is wild. This team needs about 5 to 6 starting players. So I think he's mentioning that we need to bring in 5 to 6 major players. If you see in Real Madrid's transfer strategy, that is just simply out of the question. We could have a couple of big transfers, or we could have 3 or 4 small transfers, which hopefully will pay out at the end, towards the end, as has happened with Kamavinga and Chomini, or with Vinny and Rodrigo. So stuff that you don't really trust in the beginning, but it has a magical way of working out towards the end. As to contract negotiations, the Aston Villa news is confirmed, as in they have an offer on the table, and now it's with Asensio as to what happens. Nacho might be on his way out. Again, I think I agree with you completely. I think starting today, I mean, giving him a start today would have been a proper vote of confidence in keeping Nacho around. Yeah, man. I mean, all the other stuff are pretty straightforward with Modric, with Cruz. It's an automatic renewal as far as I'm concerned, and I mean, everybody prefers having them as backup options. I mean, even my heart lifted when I saw them come in as substitutes towards the end, even though nothing happened. Uh, we also probably need a lot of set piece practice with the amount of corners and free kicks that we draw. It's a crime that none of them have been converted. and it has been going on for quite some amount of time. I mean, I hope the people that we get are actually tall people who properly know how to head a ball into the back of the net. It seems to be that it's just not happening. Yeah, please go on, Javier.
Okay, yeah, it's not even. I mean, I don't agree with the fact that we need six starting players. It's not true. Ideally, we need probably just two. You know, a left back. We need a left back like we need water, and I don't know who else. Probably,
A right
like
back
I don't know if
patch-up, probably.
yeah, but yeah, they say like, oh, the plan goes. I was reading just today that the plan for Real Madrid is to in the right will have Carvajal and Lucas Vasquez one more year.
Hmm.
And at this point in my life, it just killed me. If that's the
Yeah.
plan, just kill me right away. I have nothing against those guys. Those two are legends. But if you ask me, the Carvajal is a, a, a player for big games and nothing more. And Lucas Vasquez is a right wing converter. So
Yeah.
you cannot play one more season with that. And if Odriozola leaves, which is expected, why don't bring someone from Castilla? I don't know, something to just make a little change here and there. And if Mendes goes, and we expect him to leave, we need two left backs. We cannot have like Alaba or Camavinga as an option. It should
Mhm.
be the third option, not the second option. You
Yep.
know?
That should be the last option
Um,
on the table, not having, I mean, playing Kamavinga there, it's had its rewards throughout the season, mostly because people didn't expect it. I don't think the other teams were prepared for such a creative left back, first off. And yeah, man, I mean, we need a left back. We need a restructuring, but nobody knows what to do. At least it seems to me that the backups coming in are backups for the positions that we have. We also need a proper number nine backup for Benzema, and it just doesn't. It hasn't worked out. Let's put it that way. We've been trying with number nines in the past. The transfers definitely suggest that we've been trying. It just hasn't happened. We have Farouk chiming in saying 5 to 6 players. I also want a Maserati, but neither is happening. Yeah, Farouk.
yeah,
I
probably.
mean, yeah.
And also, but yeah, we need 5 or 6 players, yes, but not 5 or 6 starters. Like you said, a number nine, we need that because the number nine position at Real Madrid, it seems like to be one of the most controversial spots in the world. Like
Mhm.
every big team had options. We all saw how Julian Alvarez is being benched because they have Erling Braut Haaland, and even Juventus had Vlahovic, and like you name it. Inter had Lukaku and what's the name of this guy? He's from Bosnia, Tseko, and Man United had options. Like every team had options, and we like okay, it's Benzema or nothing. And I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
and if
it
Benzema fails to convert, then it's nothing. Benzema's just there. Benzema dropping in deep has been saving our asses for a lot of points the past season and this one, but it's just not a proper solution. If Benzema fails to fire, if Benzema doesn't get the shot off, like we saw today, again, props to Mamadashvili for turning into prime Buffon, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we could have, should have, would have scored if Benzema was the Benzema that he was of last season.
Yeah, that definition for today is like I think it was the last save of the game.
Mhm.
We all saw that Casemiro made something spectacular yesterday,
Yeah,
a lot with a harder definition. So for me, it's I get you have to like support Benzema. It's your key player, is the Ballon d'Or winner. Okay,
he's also a
but
confidence player who, in the best of
yeah, but
times, yeah,
he needs to realize that you cannot play with the same player if he had a bad game. No one is perfect. And
mhm.
Benzema more than not had bad games here and there. So whenever he had a bad game, it seems like Carleto or everyone is afraid to substitute him. Like, come on. The problem for today's game is that Benzema touched the ball like 3 times
Hmm.
in the first 45 minutes, I think. And in the second half, he was like also motivated, but the fact that Rodrigo and Vini was trying to motivate him, like I saw a few players that Rodrigo goes to the pressing, and
Hmm.
that pushed Benzema to do so. But it seems it needs to be Benzema first, or the striker first, and then
Yeah.
Rodrigo. So the best motivation for Benzema was when he was competing with Higuain for a spot, and we
Hmm.
all saw that how better is Benzema than Higuain. I'm not saying Higuain is bad, but I'm saying that Benzema was so much better.
Hmm.
So he lacks motivation now. Like he was so often compared, like, oh, when Ronaldo leaves, he's gonna be bottled, and he wasn't. He was spectacular. One season for greatness. Like 2021 is the season to enlighten everyone
Hmm.
who wants to play that position. But either if he's gonna retire or he's gonna continue playing. If you continue playing, you need to improve,
Hmm.
and and you're not getting any younger. So why don't you, if you love Real Madrid, allow Real Madrid to bring someone new to play these kind of games with your switch off or when you don't have nothing to do, and like play a lot of games. Like I remember when we used to have like Ronaldo and Van Nistelrooy and Huntelaar at the same time,
Yep.
and now it seems like we are scared to
To substitute,
like to
it's
provoke.
just it's also a question of squad depth, which we obviously don't have, and which we obviously don't plan to invest in, which is the scary part. It's not about having, I don't know, a bunch of players who can play in each other's positions as was meant to be. It's all patch solutions, and it's not proper solutions. You know what I mean? We don't have players designed for each position. I think the plan as we move forward would be to bring Rodrigo into that number nine, train him because he's malleable enough, he's young enough, and he has the fucking balls to do it, and play Fede Valverde in the right wing. I just don't know. But the transfers that we talk about, I mean, we keep reinforcing the midfield and expecting that to be the end all one solution to everything. And we're still in talks to reinvigorate that midfield. But then we'll hold off on that discussion until we get a proper panelist on that might be coming soon. We will have a proper preview with somebody from Dortmund anyway. But the decision as to those transfers, the rumors there, we'll just settle it then. And we also have a lot of new content coming, and we are really, really close to that 1K. So if you're new here, just please subscribe. Just leave a like to help us with the algorithm. If you're old, and I don't know, tell some friends, get us to that 1K, man. Yeah, sorry for the off-topic stuff, Javier. A couple
Dale,
of a couple of comments before we go in. Hassan says, how Cancelo, Fran Garcia as the left back, we will be there. Fran Garcia seems to be interested, and we also seems to be in negotiations for a left back. So Fran Garcia, hoping he can actually be the solution, or even João Cancelo, who seems to be with Bayern. It's either in or out, and he seems to be more out than in. Even though Tuchel says he wants to keep him, I don't see it happening. I don't really know what to say. Uh, and Sunaid says, is Benzema finished? That last chance, prime Benzema finishes it. I mean, talking about missed chances, Sunaid also said, Fede chance, simple decision to put it either corner. Yeah, man, we were shooting at the keeper uh, all game long. And the Fede from this season's beginning, scoring goals just for fun, just running up the numbers, even making bets with Carlito, just isn't the same anymore.
yeah.
It's been a grueling season. It's been, I mean, we're all human and we understand that. But you get a split second to bury it, and it should be instinct with these players, and we expect it from all of them. Uh, the balls that flew above head from the crosses, the simple passes that just weren't going through for the past 4 or 5 games, I want to say. It's all been disappointing and it's been leading up to this moment. And yeah, one of the things that will come out of games like this is that it will place a question mark on Carlo's future. It's something for the chat to battle it out. Carlo in or Carlo out, man. It's not an easy decision, and it's not one that we take lightly because a proper successor is hard to find. There's just no right answers. It's all risks. People say Raul, and Raul says no.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be that there are proper answers. Yeah, any other mischances that we need to talk about, Javier, just before moving on from that topic?
I mean, the Fede one is the clearest for me. You know,
Mhm.
like uh, Fede, they say Fede has been playing with a foot injury for a very long time.
Mhm.
Once again, uh, if Fede is not 100% fit and you have nothing left to play for, the Champions League is, I think it's done. Like Real Sociedad is like what 10 points behind us,
Yeah.
so give it the rest necessary for the players that need it. So
Definitely.
um,
Even with Kamavinga, the same thing, right? I mean, why are we
yeah,
playing essential players in games like this? Especially when you're facing Valencia in their home ground, why? It just doesn't matter. The
I
season's
mean,
finished as far as we're concerned. Everything else is
but
just
did you?
details.
Yeah, but today was different because like we said at the first, we have the opportunity to push them to relegation. So if that's your motivation, you're not gonna say it. Like it
Sure.
will be bad it will be bad as an institution to say like, oh no, I'm playing my starting man because I want to relegate Valencia. But if was that the case, I will expect something more for our players. Like you, Real Madrid as an institution hate Valencia, and Valencia hate Real Madrid, and
With a
but
passion,
also
yes.
Valencia, yeah, Valencia hates Real Madrid players, but Real Madrid players don't fucking care about Valencia, because why would they? Like Valencia, it's not relevant for the title race for the past, I don't know, 20 years. I think their last title was 20 years ago, something like that. So uh, Camavinga was born like 20 years ago. So the last time Valencia mattered was 20, almost when Cama was
Pre
in,
Kamavinga,
you
yeah.
know,
It's
uh,
BC before Kamavinga, yeah.
yeah. But okay, so you were saying like, okay, Frank Garcia, I think he's done deal.
Mhm.
And Cancelo, for me, probably it's a good option, like, but we have to deal with Bayern and City or just City. I don't know. Like if it is Bayern, probably it would be easier, but because City, I don't think City is gonna negotiate with us easily.
They just don't need the money. I
Uh,
mean, why just yeah, but yes, they don't need the money, but yes,
but they don't want Cancelo. It's clear
because
that
it's
they
us
don't want
asking.
Cancelo.
It's yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah. If it was anyone else, they go, okay, I give it for free. And if we ask for Cancelo, they're gonna be like 50 million quid or something like that.
Yeah,
And also, I was hearing the news like they Real Madrid would try to push for Alfonso Davies. I would love
I
that.
just don't see it
And
happening. Literally one of my favorite defensive players in the current generation, but I don't see it happening. It's not an easy negotiation ever to
no,
free Alfonso Davis from Bayern is a different beast altogether. We'd have to pull out all the stops, and frankly, I just don't see it happening.
I mean the only point in our favor it, I read something a few months ago that he has struggled with mental issues and he wants to leave, like Bundesliga. So Bayern being a club that involves with their players, like
Mhm.
okay, I don't want you to leave. You're crucial for this project, but if you're gonna be miserable, I will let you go. Like I see this kind of buyer in that regard that he, not because they don't want him because they who on earth don't want Alfonso Davis, but uh, just like okay, I really want to move because I don't feel very good. I don't know if it's Germany, I don't know if it's Munich or something, or I don't know what happened to him. Like because for the first part of the season, it was like completely gone. You know, like the one Alfonso Davis that
We
we all
saw
love
last
to.
season, yeah. It just wasn't
Yeah,
there. The magic wasn't there. The pace
even
wasn't
at the
there.
World Cup,
True,
even
yeah.
at the World Cup, I think something happened to him because it was the first time that Canada goes to the World Cup in I don't know God knows how much,
Hmm.
and had a terrible Canada had a terrible World Cup, so probably that affects him. I don't know, but who else? Like I was reading today. For me, it's still bullshit. Like they say, like, oh, finally Harry Kane is gonna come. Harry Kane is not gonna come.
And we don't care, man. What are we doing? We're just replacing Benzema with a step down version of Benzema. Hey, what's the point?
Yeah, if you ask me, I would love to bring Harry Kane like in 2017, something like that.
Yeah,
Like
5 years before Harry Kane from 5 years before would have fit in, but then yeah, he just yeah, he's the England captain. What do you expect?
do some Blahovic.
Again, too
Juventus is not gonna
expensive.
give him from free.
Yeah, again, it
Uh,
just won't happen. And we have Dennis the Great saying, "Why are we not linked to Osimhen? He's a good player. He's passionate. He would fit us." Again, the price tag is it would be bonkers. It just yeah,
yeah,
the logistics of it will not work. Sunay replies to it saying, "Osimhen is at least 150 mil. In reality, do you think we're gonna move that mad?" First off, no, and lastly, no. It's just not happening.
it's not gonna happen because for Real Madrid to do two 100 plus million signings in one summer, we need to sell for 100 million. Like we can bring Osimhen if we sell someone around 100 million, and that's Vini, Fede, Rodrigo, Camavinga, and we're not gonna sell them. So we can make a signing for 100 million. We expect to bring Bellingham for that amount of money, but uh, you can bring Bellingham and two or three players, good players, but to bring superstars, we need to sell. We don't
Yeah.
have this unlimited oil money. We don't have this unlimited palancas. We don't, and
Yeah.
that's probably also the reason that Real Madrid as an institution is so solid because they don't make these kind of mistakes. For me, I'm not saying that bringing Osimhen or bringing someone like I don't know Colomani would be a mistake. I'm just saying that spending that amount of money and don't bench Benzema because if you have a 100 million player, you need to start him. Like that's the unimplied
Yeah.
uh, deal.
It's also the fact that we've been burned before with a 100 million deal, who's currently sitting on a bench and will be leaving. For what I hear is on a free at the end of the season with Hazard going away, is that we've been burned with phenomenal players who have proven themselves and risen to the top of the world just to come to us and sit on the bench. It's one of those things. It has to be a really really calculated move, or it has to be somebody who comes in through the ranks. Again, we're not starting Castilla players, we're not giving them enough chances. It's one of those things that you expect from Carlo Ancelotti teams, that there's a fixed starting lineup. It changed a little bit today, as I think Sunaid said in the chat about the midfield. On paper, the midfield of Kama, Ceballos, Chouameni should have been bonkers, and it was so underwhelming. Nobody apart from Chouameni did anything. I think I personally I feel like Ceballos did some of the heavy lifting, but then again, that is because he was in a lot of places because of his pace, because of the effort that he puts in. And our right side at some point, I think between 55 and 75 minutes, the right side looked really threatening. We had some chances, we had some shots at goal that ended up right in the gloves anyway. But yeah, it's a frustrating game, and I don't know where we go forward from this. Um, and we can all suggest answers, but finally, it's up to Carlo and it's up to the board to to foot the bill
Yeah.
fundamentally, and yeah, just make the deals happen. We also don't have, as Javier just said, oil money or pockets that are lined with lawyers just to say. Again, I keep bringing this up. I don't think Haaland was a 70 million deal. Like, how does that even make sense? It has to be like 200 million
There's
buried
none.
somewhere in some offshore accounts. I'm sure we can probably have some offshore accounts, and yeah, let's not just go
It
there.
the Haaland 60 million deal is it smells exactly the same as the Neymar, like 45 millions, and even now this week they say like, oh, this is a payment for Barca to a few companies for that have been, like, managed by Neymar's dad between 2015 to 2017, something like that. So we're gonna find out, like, the Haaland family had a castle in Abu Dhabi here very soon. We're gonna hear about, because you and I both know how valuable was Haaland to Dortmund, and if they want to sell us Bellingham for 100 plus, it's easy. I mean, easy. 150 million for Haaland.
Definitely.
Easy.
No, no. It's also the
Oh,
fact that they put out a press conference just towards the end of last season, before all the transfer actually started. Just between all the transfer saga market news, that
yeah.
there's no way that he was going for less than 150 million, and they know that Man City and Real Madrid are interested. We also had news coming out from Mbappe's camp that said that Mbappe didn't want to be an option next to Haaland playing in the same team. Uh, Again, that's all press releases towards the end of the season from Mbappe's camp, which is a smart way
Mbappe.
of navigating the modern game. But yeah, a couple of comments before we move on. Optics 101 says Cancelo will ruin your dressing room. Just look at the reception he got when he came back to Etihad for Bayern's second leg. To cause that many shockwaves on loan takes a special sort of idiot. Again, votes against the Cancelo loan or transfer, whatever you want to call it. Um, Again, is one of those players who seem to be on top of the world and then just had a terrible fallout. First against Pep, and then against the whole team, and then again at Bayern. It's a shocker, definitely. But I mean, to be fair, the players who stand up against Pep, yeah, we know how that saga ends. And then we have
But
Hassan. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Javier, go on.
no, I just want to point that out, that something is something is happening at Bayern. Like,
Yeah,
the sack of Nagelsmann, the Mane incident with
yeah,
was Sané, I
yeah.
think.
It was, yeah.
So, and now we have, like, hearing about Salih Hamasic and these guys. Bayern, it's almost equal in terms of greatness, in terms of anything, and also
Yeah.
how they manage to do the negotiations and everything. And
Hmm.
now they seem to be struggling for you, and it's a very good, because we're one game away. I'm not gonna jinx it. So, uh, yeah, the downfall of Bayern. Don't get me wrong. It's a blessed for me, but uh, it seems like probably you will agree with me, but it seems like now the current system is like oil money and or these state
Hmm.
teams
Hmm.
against non-state teams, like, and now we have to partnership with Bayer, and now we have to almost in some regards be a partner with Barca, and I don't like these precedents, like I don't want to be on the same conversation as them, because I truly hate them. And but but I hate even more that the fact that, oh, they're saying like, oh, City has done something special. I don't know who posted on. I think it was you in the chat, like, what the power of tactics and $2 billion can improve your team. You know, like
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
simple
yeah.
as that.
They did everything great. They brought in a good coach. They fixed their transfer strategy. I mean, they had the help of a couple of $1 billion, but then again, that's just details. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the things with Bayern, at least from a fan perspective, I've been talking to some Bayern fans, and what they say, at least for the most part, is that the management has to be fixed first before they even move into the team stuff. Because even starting from Khan all the way down, it's just the fans are not rating it highly enough. There was also the shareholder slash fans meeting where they decided to stay with the 50 plus one percentage of ownership, etc., etc. Just stopping sale of Bayern, parts of Bayern, just to keep it friendly with the fans, owned by the fans, for the fans, etc., etc., as should be the core of football. But yeah, the management has a lot to answer for, especially for how this season has been going on. They had a triple chance, and then now they're in trouble. So it's poetic in some aspects. For the people in the chat who don't know what Javier is referring to, or who don't watch or follow or care about Bundesliga that much, is that Bayern had a terrible loss today, which puts Dortmund within grasping distance of their first Bundesliga in God knows how many years. But then that also makes Bayern probably that also means that Bayern will probably be out for a lot more transfers, even giving out players, even bringing in players, potentially being a rival in terms of transfer destinations. Who knows, man? It's developing.
Yeah, the fact that they need, like if we need a number nine, because they need a number nine even
Even
more.
more,
Like
even more. Yeah.
so, if they want to bank with Osimhen or someone like that, that might open a window for Alfonso Davis, or they at Barca they say Joshua Kimmich is an option. So I
I
would
mean,
love to. I mean, they want to bring Gundogan and Bernardo Silva and Joshua Kimmich as possible transfers to Barca. And if you ask me, Jadu, and that's this might sound controversial. I really hope so because all of those three are great players,
mhm.
truly great players. I mean, we're talking about the captain of Man City, the captain for Bayern, and Bernardo Silva that destroys Real Madrid. So they're good players, but they're not getting any younger. So if you ask me, okay, they're gonna sell who? They're gonna sell Pedri. They're gonna sell the young
Yeah, no, that's
because
just not happening. I think those
or
will be
or,
free
or they
transfers. And the fact that Bernardo Silva has been interested and working for Barca since, I don't know, 3 years before, and it just hasn't happened, means that City will be looking for backups, or City will be looking for surprise, even more squad depth.
or, or they expecting to sell like Ansu Fati and Rafinha for 100 each.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, realistically, about I don't think this current Ansu Fati is valuable on the over 50. I don't see that happening.
Hmm.
And Rafinha, I mean, he has some market in the Premier League, but I don't know
I mean, he
how
came from the
much.
Premier League, I think Leeds or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
no?
he came from Leeds by
Yeah,
70 millions, I think.
yeah.
So they still owe money to Leeds.
Mm.
Even if we sell him for the same amount of money, there will
Hmm.
be no gain. So
True.
Ferran Torres, they want to sell Ferran Torres. So of course, who wouldn't
Yeah.
want to sell Ferran Torres? But it's realistically what 30 million, and I'm saying like he only had the Barca jersey to say to sustain 30 million even.
For the
Uh,
membership, yeah, for the membership fee,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
but that
just
you if that you want to read some chat?
yeah, just a couple of. I mean, because we're talking about number nine, Bayern might be looking for a number nine. There's always Vlahovic, and Hassan says he's had his stock in Vlahovic since Fiorentina days, and he would love it. Uh, Really, I mean, I don't know. Even Sunaid says, I had such expectations from Vlahovic. The finish versus Sevilla was neat, but his stock has definitely plummeted. That's true. It's also the fact that the system that he's playing in is not designed for scoring a lot of goals, which might be affecting him. Uh, but yeah, again, we will have to break the bank if we have to go for a transfer from Juventus to us, and they have even more problems to fix. It seems like a theme with the old teams now. Hassan says, "I wouldn't expect a forward to be putting up numbers, playing in Allegri's haram ball." I mean, yeah, sure, that part is true. But towards the end of the season, I don't know. Dennis says, "I don't want Vlahovic. He is not Madrid level, in my opinion." Dennis also says everybody was tired of Bayern winning the Bundesliga every season. And I think the Premier League fans will disagree. I think they're really loving the fact that City is just moonwalking over them. Optics asks, real talk though, do you think Haaland will really come to Real Madrid after your fans treated his dad and family in such a toxic manner? I mean, as I seem to remember it, his dad was the one who threw food at our fans.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
he they then he came to the talk about that incident. He's like, oh, it was a normal incident, like they weren't chanting against us, and I was provoking them to, like, in a friendly way. I don't know how Haaland that's could
No,
like,
it was all just for fun though. I mean, at the end they just shook
yeah.
it out. There was stuff on Twitter, there was stuff online being said about how it's all just it's football, man, and this stuff happens. And Optic says football is tribal, just a human being, and as a human being, first impressions are lasting, and that really wasn't a good look considering you want him bad. I
Yeah,
mean, realistically,
we
the
do,
Haaland
but
transfer isn't happening right now, at least for another 3 years. And in that time, Haaland has time to come and score a bicycle kick like Ronaldo did against Juventus when we win 5-1 for another Champions League. So, fingers crossed that our fans will applaud him then, and then he comes to us. Sunay says, when we knock, I'm sure everything's forgotten as banter. We in Barcelona to disrespect in any way, to which Scott Hynam says, yes, it was banter. Big up to all Hala Madrid. Yeah, man. And we're all caught up with the chat.
uh, so Jadu, I was
Mhm.
when we were talking about the striker number nine position, I was thinking about. Uh, so hear me out. Why don't try to bring Lukaku he's a solid uh, substitution for Benzema. I mean, Chelsea would love to sell him. I don't think Inter had the money to
Sure.
keep him.
Yeah.
So Chelsea needs to sell. So, and we need a number nine. So maybe we can figure out something like around 30 million. And Lukaku is what, 28, 29?
Yeah, but Lukaku is also one of those players where it's a flip of the coin every day. In the beginning, even for Chelsea, he was playing like he would win the Ballon d'Or. And the fall off, literally a couple of games later, was immense. And I don't think we'll take our chances again with another 28-year-old from the Premier League who has a history with injuries, a history with getting fouled, a history with
Another
team
Belgian, another
management.
one from Chelsea.
Another one from Chelsea. Yes, that bridge has been burned, and I don't think I think Todd Bowley would be interested in just keeping Lukaku around, man. Potential Champions League winner, major scorer, major presence for Inter. Who wouldn't want him on a team? It's an interesting it's an interesting thought. Let's just put it that way.
I expect Sonny to bury me with the 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 thought of bringing Lukaku. He will he will be at me, of course, but I was just an idea. But the dude probably just mentioned it because we talked about like a few seconds prior to the start of the podcast, and we know that we are a football podcast, but Real Madrid won uh, European, the equivalent of Champions League for the 11th time. In the few I wasn't because we are preparing to the live, but if someone in the chat can comment the Sergio Yul shot, it
Hmm.
seems like he had 2 seconds on the clock and he burned that and we won 79 to 78.
Ooh,
So
tiny.
congratulations once again. Uh, Another successful season by Real Madrid. We still have Copa de la Reina, and this could be end up being a solid. The first team men's club. We won 4 titles.
Hmm.
Don't uh, don't people in the chat forget that, and those City fans that still here and there, that Atletico de Madrid fan, you hear it, Raul. We won 4 titles, so Atletico won zero.
Yeah,
Once,
man. It's objectively, it's a decent enough season that we get to say, okay, we won titles, but the fact is, towards the end of the season, everything is soaring because I mean, football fans have recency bias. It's always been the case. You're judged on the last 3 games you play, the last 3 matches you commentate, and the last 3 matches you coach. It hasn't helped that the rumors of Carlo to Brazil has popped up in literally the worst possible time in the whole season. But yeah, our recent performances are putting a strain on on what we won in the season. Yeah, Copa del
yeah,
Rey been after what 7, 8 seasons or something. Clubs
20, I was 13, I think, almost 10 years.
almost 10 years, and yeah, Club World
So,
Cup
yeah,
before that. And let's not forget that this was a World Cup season, and it was a weird season too. So all in all,
and yeah, we lost in the semifinals of the Champions League. We we buried La Liga in February. That's the only thing that I will regret or criticize this season is the fact that we don't compete for La Liga for almost half season. Like everything else, it seems like you can win or lose, but being in the latest stances of every single competition is what you dream for. Like even if City, and I really hope City lose against Inter, and even Man U beat them. That would be great for me. But realistically speaking,
it's just
the
not
fact that
happening, is it?
nah, it's not happening. uh, uh, I for me would be the dream, but it's not gonna happen. So the fact that you're competing in every single competition, like and like you said, the rumors for Ancelotti and here and there, that the fact that Ramadan Benzema was sparkles from last season Benzema, and we have like we cannot say that Vini is a revelation season. Vini is the best player in Real Madrid by a long like.
Hands
And
down. Yeah.
Thibaut had an incredible season, and I mean, yeah, and now Castilla. I don't know if Castilla is still, like what's the opposite of relegation? What's the name? Like they,
Promotion.
yeah, they're on the verge of promotion. I think
Yeah.
Arbeloa's side won the competition, and like I said, the Femenino side had an impressive. I watched a few games, like here and there. Femenino had an impressive um, second season compared to the first one, and
Definitely.
of course they
Such a
improved.
major step
They
up.
improved.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, they improved some players. I mean, Caroline Weird, it's impressive football player. This Linda Caicedo plays impressive football. A little downside for Atenea. I expect a little more for her, but she's still young. But the fact that the Real Madrid as an institution is so solid
Hmm.
that you and I and Sonaid and everyone on the chat is bitching about the details. Like we and that's the thing. You and I should only bitch about the details, because we're not the president of Real Madrid. We are just fans of Real Madrid. So the fact that we be destroyed by Man City and this consequence for today. I mean, like I said, and you probably agree with me, the season is over. The
Yeah.
season is over for Real Madrid. The next games, I think we still have two games left.
Mhm.
If Benzema could score 7 goals and Lewandowski zero, okay, Benzema will win the Pichichi. Other than that, what else? You know,
So just
maybe
just to just
maybe
to
debuting someone from Castilla.
that would definitely be a much better route than the one that we're taking right now. Just give the Castilla players something to look towards, work forward to, because we have three games coming up. On the 24th, we're playing Rayo Vallecano at home. On 27th, Sevilla away. And on the 4th of June, we're ending the season playing Athletic Club at home. I mean, those are prime oppositions where you want to start the youngsters, give them a chance, because this season, as we have just declared, it's over for all senses of the word. I mean, we are in the Champions League. There's just no, I don't know. There's no competition there. Atleti are currently in second. We can knock them off just for the fun of it. If we can, just go towards it. Yeah, man. La Liga's wraps, UCL's wraps, and then it's all transfer season again. Just a couple of other chat stuff to catch up to. Optic says, I do love you boys, good content. Plus, I'd rather hear news about La Liga here than anywhere else. That gives us confidence, Optics. My G, come on. Yeah. That's good to hear. And yeah, man, just tell your friends that we're doing a podcast and etc. etc. Get us closer to that 1K. Farouk says Haaland is still 2 windows away. What do we do in the meantime? Finished 20 points behind league winners. We need to find a solution for the here and now. Yeah. I mean, it seems to be that's the question on every fan's mind. What happens to the number nine from for next season and the season after that? We need stop gaps, and more than that, we need a really solid option for Benzema to be substituted, and he's happy about it. It's not like we're taking Benzema off for somebody that may or may not play. So yeah. Sunay just thanks Optic, saying you guys better give us Haaland and give Alvarez the respect he deserves in 2 years' time. Love for the love. Yeah, man. Or just give us Alvarez. I don't know. Uh, Sunay says, in my opinion, a signing like Chicharito would be good enough for a year or two. I miss that guy, by the way. That was such a pleasant surprise. They don't make players like that anymore, bro. It's just if the thing is, I mean, La Liga. This we're coming all the way back to the start of the episode. I mean, if La Liga makes it such an unpleasant environment to play in, and such a place where we have no money and no sponsors, I mean, why would players even come here?
Yeah. Like Sune was the one that saying bring Chicharito slack. Do you remember Adebayor and Chicharito? Those two long deals were perfect for what Real Madrid need at that moment.
Hmm.
But I'm of course I'm biased. Of course I'm biased, but for me I have another option as a center forward now, here now. It could be uh, somewhere between, I don't know, 30 to 40 million, but it's the Santi Jimenez. He has an incredible season at Feyenoord.
Hmm.
He's the highest Mexican goal scorer in a season ever in every
For
European
Feyenoord,
competition.
yes, that's true. Yeah.
They won the what's the name, Eredivisie, I think. And it could be, like, uh, if it works, it would be great. He's 21, I think. So if it doesn't work, just sell it to, like some Italian team and something like that. But
Hmm.
I mean, he was saying that, oh, I have an incredible season here.
Hmm.
If Real Madrid is calling, every especially on the Netherlands, they know how proper when to sell players. They are experts in doing that. Every single uh, no, LDBC player that has something to improve,
Hmm.
you name it. Someone like Luis Suarez or someone like even Ibra, they know how to sell. Even Haller,
Yeah.
you, we, it brings me so much joy. Once again, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about Dortmund once again, but today Haller scoring two uh, bring me so much joy. Like a guy that struggled for the
Yeah,
first
man.
6 months of the season
Sebastian
with a
Haller
cancer, and now,
is an actual inspiration. Sebastian Haller just
yeah,
hands down, man,
and
amazing.
this guy could solidify the Bundesliga title. So yeah, but that being said, I mean, Santi Jimenez would be a great option. Of course, I'm biased, but once again,
Yeah,
I'm not a
couple of stats for the people in the chat. Santiago Jimenez currently plays for Feyenoord. He came to Feyenoord with a transfer fee of 4 million, 29 July 2022. Been consistently, so he played in 31 games, started 20 games, got 2 assists and 15 goals. And he's Mexican and he's a forward and
yeah,
he's a
and if you have the fact or the stats that of the, I think he played Europa League. He's even more impressive by minutes and goal scores in the Europa League. So don't he just don't score on the LLBC. He still score in European football. So that's another valid point.
mm,
So if you go to Feyenoord with 30 minutes, they probably gonna sell you.
oh
And once
definitely.
again,
Mhm.
and like Farouk was saying in the chat, we need to do something between now and the potential, once again, potential move from Haaland. Because let's face it, City, if Haaland still performs like this, City is never gonna sell Haaland, never
Yeah,
in their life. But if Haaland wants to move, and that's a lot of if, like the if with Mbappe is the same or even uh, I think we have more chances to bring in Mbappe than bring in Haaland at this point. So that's a huge if.
that's a fair point. I mean, talking about number nines, Hassan says Jonathan David could be a cheaper option. Jonathan
Yeah,
David, if I'm not wrong, he plays for Canada, right? He's the forward for
yeah,
Canada. All I saw of him was in the World Cup. It could also be that because the Canadian team was what they were in the World Cup, but I don't know. It seems to me that he would be for us. He would definitely be just a backup, just in case Benzema, gets injured or decides that he's having a shit game. Dennis the Great says that Jonathan David is not even Tottenham level. He should be nowhere near our club. Sunay says Jonathan David is average. I wish we didn't have standards here. So there you go. Votes of no confidence from people in the chat.
yeah. But someone in the chat, what do you guys think about Santi Jimenez? I'm here alone. Do you guys ever watch any Feyenoord game? Who else? If someone in the chat could ask like proper answer, don't give us Haaland once again because we all discussed that it's not happening. At least this summer, if you have the money, uh, who would you bring?
Who
And
are you
also
going for? Yeah, man.
you like Jadu, come on, we are on the verge of 1K. Like you said, tell your friends. Who wouldn't want to be the number one, the 1,000 subscriber for this
The
podcast? You can brag
1,000
to your
subscriber.
friends. You can brag to your friends. We can give you something special, probably not money, but a shout out or something like that, especially in the chat. Like make you a post on Instagram. Spread the
Thanking
news.
you. Yeah, thanking you to be the 1,000 subscriber. Yeah, man. It's happening for sure. Sunay is
The sooner
saying
the better.
Sunay is saying Adeyemi, but Adeyemi is not a number nine. Adeyemi coming in would be the same as I
Bring
don't
in
know.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, Vinny and Rodrigo. Definitely Vinny than Rodrigo. I mean, whenever he's played on the right wing, Adeyemi has been a hit and miss. Um, But on the
He
left
played a
wing,
false number 9 today
true, through the middle of
for
the
a few
pitch.
minutes.
Yeah, through the
Yeah.
middle of the pitch, combining with Bellingham has been really good, especially his pace. But then again, I don't see Dortmund parting ways with him, and he's not a player we desperately need as a number 9. If he can grow into a number 9, then maybe in a couple of years. But yeah, it's still not a
And still
stopgap
another at least 80 million. 80 million for Karim
or
Adeyemi.
bare minimum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis the Great also says, I don't want Jonathan David. Jovic is better than him.
No.
That transfer is just not in my memory. It just didn't happen.
Yeah. But if it
Um,
happened, like 60 millions for Benfica for that guy.
yeah, man. I mean, it just wasn't working out with Jovic. It's football, isn't it? Hassan says, okay, what about Balogun? 20 league goals this season. Actually, not a bad point. I mean, I haven't seen enough of Balogun, but yeah, it's an interesting option. But I don't think again. Um, pure
Did you know
strike?
the price tag for full club?
No. What
What
was it?
I mean,
Folkrug would
I don't
be
know.
Folkrug for the especially for the national team. Folkrug was actually decent, even given the way that Germany crashed out. He was still decent. I think age comes into question there, though. It's also the fact that he is not a regular starter, and when he starts, it's again hit or miss, pretty much like
Okay.
yeah. Danielson Emmanuel is back. Hi, Danielson. He says, I don't think we need a backup for Benzema. Interesting. We actually need his replacement. Come on, guys. Let's
Well,
not start this Arsenal fans thing of being contented with the failure. To which Farouk says, shots fired. And Sunil says, Benzema's not going anywhere for one more season. Yeah, man. We can bring in a number 9 as a substitute, and then hopefully enough time, enough presence, enough chances to be Benzema's successor. Tas Aliba says the option Roberto Firmino, Bobby Firmino really. Worst comes to worst, maybe Ivan Tony in January. If I'm not wrong, Ivan Tony just got a ban from football for what 8 months.
yeah.
Hmm, maybe
And
in,
Firmino, yeah, would be a free transfer fee, but
but even
I
Liverpool
mean,
don't start him. So
yeah, he's long gone his prime,
yeah,
like the
it would
the
have
fact that
been.
they bring that way.
I mean, realistically, if we needed, if we were going for a Liverpool transfer, I would have said we should have gone for Mane. But yeah, after this season, after his fall off, I just don't know. Ivan Tony will be a minimum 60 million pounds. Tasaliva says it's interesting. It's an interesting concept bringing in Ivan Tony because it's a different kind of player. We would have to make some changes, put some systems around, but we can make it work. I just don't think he will want to come play in Madrid for some reason. If Real Madrid come calling, maybe. Hassan says, I think we need a big number 9 and make Benzema the backup, but the club won't do it. Yeah, just that. Yeah, no, probably not.
That's
Uh,
not gonna happen.
yeah, that just isn't going to happen. Dennis the Great says, Evan Tony, decent, but come on, we are Real Madrid, so probably not. But as a backup, I would take him. Again, interesting
They
concept, but I just don't think it's going to happen anyway. Yeah, man.
and yeah, and also the Spanish media saying like Gerard Romero and also Joselu. Joselu that loves to score against us, and he's he's playing for Espanyol, and if Espanyol gets relegated, he's definitely gonna move. So, but once again, it's a
It's a big
patch.
if. It's a big if, yeah. Joselo would be a good addition. I mean,
He's
he
an
knows
academy player.
exactly. He's an academic player. He knows how the system works. He's also
low
steady enough.
risk,
Yeah, low
and
risk.
he's a proper number nine. No, he's a proper number nine.
Also true, would be a cheap option, especially if it's a relegation battle, you know? Yeah, yeah. Farouk says Tony is a great shout. Man's a hustler as well. Our players are too nice. To which Tasaliba says, hustler in what way? Because he is a hustler off the pitch too, as it seems. Well said, Tas. That there couldn't have been a more diplomatic way to say it. Fair enough. Yeah, man. I think that's pretty much all things covered because we mentioned the game, which didn't need too much mentioning.
Yeah,
There wasn't too much to go on about in the game, honestly. It's just one of those matches which shouldn't really matter that much, but it did for all the wrong reasons. And then we mentioned how the team should ideally change and improve in the coming season. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
I I expect that you for the next time you and I have the show on this podcast, two things will happen. Borussia winning the Bundesliga, and they announce the transfer for Jude Bellingham, because those two are going to happen hopefully with a week in in time. Next Sunday will be Bundesliga for Borussia, and I think Real Madrid and Borussia will announce Bellingham at least at the beginning of June. I don't see happening even further than that. So kudos to Bellingham, and unfortunately, I'm not gonna wear my Bellingham jersey because, like you and I would talk about that. I have buy it from, I don't know, since February, and it is still gonna only came to, I think it's September. So
Is
hopefully
it
I'm gonna, yeah. I don't know why it's taking so long to Puma to restock, and I don't know why, but
out of stock because he
yeah.
was having a phenomenal season? Uh,
No, it's a black, like the all
oh
black version.
yeah, oh the matte one. Yeah, it's a sick jersey though.
Yeah,
There's.
yeah.
Yeah, a couple of notes to the chat. We might be having a a Dortmund special podcast coming your way. So just turn the bell on if you would like to be updated, or just follow us on socials, or just keep coming back whenever we have a live. Because we are here week in and week out, talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Anyway, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's other than that. Just notes on Bellingham, I guess. A couple of reports, that couple of rumors, or the sources are Marsa, which is why I don't want to believe it in too much. And then every other news agency cite Marsa as a source, and they said that we've agreed to personal terms. It's happened 2 weeks before, and we're just waiting for developments at the end of Bundesliga before official announcements. But there's still a lot that can change. There were also reports that Bellingham was cited in London for discussions. So if there's something there, I don't even know. But he's from England anyway. Also something to think about. But yeah, those are the news that we have at this point. Everything else is just rumors that I don't want to give a platform to. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, Madridistas shake it off. Another terrible loss against one of our biggest rivals, Valencia. Congratulations on not getting relegated. Uh, Atletico, congratulations on winning the second place trophy. And for all of you in the chat that were not subscribed, subscribe please, give us a like, share. We are on the verge of the 1K. We hope that we get it at the end of the season. That would be huge for us. That would be the great start for the season 3 of the podcast. So we hope to manage that. And like Jadu said, expect the Borussia Dortmund show soon. We didn't have the exact date. When we do, be attention on our socials and in the Instagram, so we can uh, probably it's gonna be the two and I because we are the two that watch Bundesliga the most. But yeah, I don't know if you want to wrap this up or you want me to say goodbye. But a la Madrid, guys.
Hala Madrid, guys. Just shout out to Real Madrid Committee, our partners on Instagram, as usual, as ever. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. Just saying you subscribe, just for us to know, you know. Take care, guys. Have a lovely week ahead. See you soon. Hala Madrid.